Nelson Mandela, A Long Walk to Freedom. Extra questions. So the very first question is, who is the speaker? And the answer is, Nelson Mandela is the speaker. Next question, why was he besieged by dignitaries and world leaders? So he was besieged or surrounded by world leaders because it was the installation of democratic government in South Africa and they had come to pay their respects before the inauguration. Next question, where did the ceremonies take place? The ceremonies took place in the lovely sandstone amphitheatre formed by the Union buildings in Pretoria. Next question, what had Pretoria for decades been the seat of? So for decades, Pretoria had been the seat of white supremacy. Next question, what does the speaker mean by an extraordinary human disaster? The system of racial domination erected by white people against the dark-skinned people of South Africa is called the extraordinary human disaster. Next question, who were outlawed and why? So the South Africans were outlaws because of its policy of apartheid. Many countries had broken off diplomatic relations with South Africa, thus it was outlawed by many nations. Next question, why did the speaker thank all the international guests? So he thanked them for attending the ceremony and for joining South Africans in the common victory for justice, for peace, and for human dignity. Next question, what does the speaker mean by glorious human achievement? The overturning and replacement of system of racial domination by a democratic government which recognizes the rights and freedoms of all people regardless of the color of their skin is considered the glorious human achievement. Next question, what did the journals of army and police do? What would have they done not so many years ago? So the answer is, the journals of army and police saluted Nelson Mandela. They would have arrested him instead of saluting not so many years ago because he was a freedom fighter. Next question, why were two national anthems sung? So the two national anthems were sung to show the equality and unity of both the races, that is blacks and whites. The stem was the old anthem of South Africa under white rule, whereas Nkosi Sikelel' Africa was the Christian hymn sung by blacks and freedom fighters in the rallies and gatherings. So on the day of independence, both the anthems were sung to show that now onwards both races will be equal in South Africa. Next question, what happened at the first decade of 20th century? So in the first decade of 20th century, the white-skinned people of South Africa patched up the differences and erected a system of racial domination against the dark-skinned people of South Africa. Next question, what happened in the last decade of 20th century? Now, in the last decade of 20th century, the system of racial domination had been overturned and replaced by the democratic government, a system which recognized the rights and freedoms of all people regardless of the color of their skin. Next question, why was the speaker pained or sad on the day of inauguration? So the speaker pained or at the day of inauguration because he was missing the freedom fighters along with whom had struggled against white rule. He was pained, sad because he was not able to thank them and they were not able to see what their sacrifices had produced. Actually, they were not alive. Next question. What unintended effect had been done by the decades of oppression and brutality? So answer is the unintended effect was that it produced the great men of extraordinary courage, wisdom and generosity. Next question. What does courage mean to Mandela? So according to Mandela, courage was not the absence of fear but the triumph or victory over it. He says that the brave man is not one who claims that he is not afraid of anything. Yes, but one who has fears and he wins over them. Next question. What does Mandela say about man's goodness and love and hate? Mandela says that man's goodness is like a flame which can be hidden but never extinguished or put out. Further, he says that no one is born hating others because of the color of their skin, caste, or religion. People must learn to hate, and if they can learn to hate, then they can be taught to love also. Love is more natural to humans as compared to hatred. Next question. What twin obligations does Mandela mention? So, Mandela says that every man has twin obligations. First is the obligation to family, parents, wife and children, and second obligation is to his people, community and country. Next question. How did Mandela's understanding of freedom change with age and experience? How did it change his life? As a child, freedom for him was to free to run in the fields, swim, to ride back bulls, roast mealies at night. As a student, he wanted the freedom to stay out night, read whatever he want to read, go wherever he want to go. Further, as a young man in Johannesburg, he wanted the basic freedom of achieving his goals according to his ability, earn for his family, marrying. But then he realized that his freedom was an illusion and he joined African National Congress to liberate his people. Last question. Does Mandela think that the oppressor is free? No, he does not think that oppressor is free. According to him, a man who takes away another man's freedom is himself a prisoner of hatred, prejudice, and narrow-mindedness. He thinks that the oppressor and the oppressed both are robbed of their humanity.